Before we get to this week's episode of Business Over a Brew, let me tell you about my friends at Roberts Motors. You know, one of our favorite episodes here on the show was when we had a chance to sit down with Sam and John Roberts. If you haven't had a chance to watch that episode, go back and take a look at it. It's great to see the interaction between not only two business partners, but of course father and son as well. They really epitomize what a local business is all about. Number one, doing business the right way, giving back to the community. If you have a chance, you may not buy a car from there, but at least give them the opportunity. Shop robertsmotors.com. You get more at Roberts Motors Ford. More selection, more value. Each vehicle they sell comes with the Roberts Rewards Value Package, which includes oil changes for 2 years, loaner cars, car washes, and much more. Get more at Roberts Motors Ford. Check them out at robertsmotors.com. Now enjoy this week's episode of Business Over a Brew. Welcome to Business Over a Brew, the show where we talk business with some of the Riverbend's most interesting and influential business leaders, all while enjoying a nice brew from the Great Rivers Tap and Grill inside the Best Western Premier Hotel in Alton. In this episode, we'll talk to Dr. Matt Labertew with Axis Spinal Care. He'll tell us why chiropractic might be a good choice for you and how he balances being a good doctor with also being a good business person. So let's get to it. It's the Business Over a Brew podcast from the Great Rivers Tap and Grill inside the Best Western Premier Hotel in Alton. Welcome to Business Over a Brew. Pleased to be joined in this episode by Dr. Matt Labertew of Axis Spinal Care in Bethalto. Matt, thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Let's start with this. Let's tell us a little bit about where you grew up and a little bit about your background.
I'm from Bethalto. Grew up in Bethalto. Went to CM. Graduated, played sports, soccer, basketball, track. Loved Bethalto. Ultimately, I went to Logan Chiropractic College, and then, long story short, I came back here, opened up a practice. That practice got torn down, or the building got torn down by 255. They were expecting that building to stay a little bit longer. I had 5 years, they said. And within 8 months, they got a grant, and that building is now coming down. So 8 months into my first business, I have to find a new place to go. So I ended up going in with a local chiropractor in Bethalto, sharing space with him. That worked out okay, but I wanted to be on my own. Mm-hmm. So at that time, I went to Vandalia, Illinois, opened something up, and I was there for about 8 years. Ended up selling that practice because I wanted to be back closer to my family and friends. And then I opened up back in Bethalto and have been here about 12 years.
That had to be pretty challenging going to Vandalia, being from Bethalto your whole life and moving to an entirely different town and being relatively new to the business too.
Yeah, it was. The reason I went there is because I did my internship in Jerseyville, and I really liked the small town atmosphere, customers' patience. I think they were very loyal, less competition. So I was there. I think it was 6 to 8 months, and then I actually stayed on for 6 months after I graduated until I got my license, because there's a lag time between when you graduate, take your test, your board test, and then actually get licensed. So I was able to stay with the person I did my internship with and make a little money, and again still get patient interaction, learn more, because I still am fresh, still a little nervous. But I got my hands on a lot of people. I got to meet a lot of people, really, grow my communication skills with him. And then I, opened that up. And again, I was 5 years. I was like, hey, 5 years that's a good amount of time to build a business. Because, really, I don't even know if the stats are the same, but they say it takes about 5 years to know if you're going to make it or break it. And I was actually doing fairly decent in 8 months, and it was a shock. Oh, okay, well, because they got a grant, and I think it was November or October, probably right around this time, and they said you have to be out by the end of the year. So it wasn't you have a year. It was you have 2 months to find a place, and I was doing well enough at the time that I didn't want to just up and leave, but I wasn't doing enough to feel comfortable to go out on my own or purchase a building at that time. Mm-hmm. I just wasn't ready, just because I'm so young, and student loans, those were up there. So again, I went in with another chiropractor, and again, I learned a lot. I learned a lot of good things. I learned a lot of things I didn't necessarily want to practice like, and then that's when I chose to go to the other place. And again, I chose there because I liked Jerseyville. and I like that. And Vandalia is kind of a small town. It's got the Walmart.
Sure,
And everybody, it's a small town with not a huge population, but the population of the people that came to that small area to do their business, banking, shopping, doctoring, is quite large with again less competition as far as many chiropractors are in this area per se.
What was your introduction to chiropractic, and when did you start thinking this might be something I want to do for a career?
Actually, not Jerseyville, junior year, soccer. I can't remember, so long ago. I either hurt my neck or my back, lower back. And my parents went to the local chiropractor in Bethalto, and they went to him for years. So they sent me to him, and he started talking to me about chiropractic. And junior year, you're not thinking about anything but sports and cars and girls.
Right.
So, I didn't care. Okay, sure, thanks, Doc. I appreciate it. Mm-hmm. He got me better really quickly. It's very nice, and I no drugs, no pain pills. And after a few visits, I felt a lot better. And then I didn't see him. And lo and behold, next season, soccer season, I hurt my neck or back. It was opposites. Went back to him, but now we're looking at senior year. Now I have to actually start thinking about, hey, you got to choose something. And I was really good at sciences, biology. So I started looking into it, and I liked the whole aspect of helping people, and basically with my hands, and not using the drugs. I mean, there's a time and place for everything. I believe that. But he was very charismatic. I really liked him, and so I looked into it, and kind of the ball just kept rolling. And here I am 20 years later.
I think at least there used to be, I don't know if there still are, but a lot of misconceptions about chiropractic and what it is. What's kind of your definition of it?
I would say the easiest layperson's definition of chiropractic, just chiropractic, because chiropractic now can encompass a lot of different things. There's a lot of different chiropractors that are doing a lot of different things underneath their license or within their license scope of practice. But as far as a chiropractor, I would say that specifically we look at the joints in the back, neck, middle back, lower back, and we can work with other joints in the body, but we're looking for joints that aren't functioning properly, mostly not moving the way they're supposed to, and we try to get them to move better or move more properly. And once they are moving better, then the body's going to function better, muscles are going to loosen up, and you're going to feel better. It's probably the easiest way I can explain it and make it simple. Mm-hmm. There's probably a lot harder definition that I could do that wouldn't make a lot of sense.
I think you hear a lot of stories from people that were maybe hesitant to go to a chiropractor first and thought, oh, that's not for me. And then they go. And I would say a large portion of the people that go end up, swearing by them.
Yeah. Some of my favorite patients are patients that have been everywhere, seen everybody, had every test, and been told it's either all in their mind or they have to live with it. Some of those people are my best patients, because if I can help them, they are loyal and they stay with me, and it does help with people like that a lot.
And it kind of ties in a little bit, I think, well, a lot maybe, to the opioid crisis that we have in our community. A lot of it starts with, not just our community, but a lot of communities. You hear so many stories of it starting with getting prescribed a pain med, and like you said, there's time and place maybe for everything, but a lot safer way to treat pain, certainly.
This is a soapbox that I could go on for a while and get very maybe unpolitically correct. but yes, I agree. I think and I tell people, my patients or people I meet, if it's not broken or bloody or bleeding, come to me first. I'm a gateway. I can get you in. If I can't help you, I can at least point you into a good direction. A lot of people just don't know. They don't know a specialist. They're, so they do go to generals, which, a chiropractor in the state of Illinois is a primary care physician. You can come directly to me, and I'm trained to hopefully know what's going on with you and either be able to treat it myself or get you into the right testing or to the right doctor to get what you need. So that's why I say with my patients, even if you have a cough, a sneeze, headaches, sinus problems, come to me first. See if I can help it. If not, then we can go that route. And if it needs drugs or pain medication, but always start with the either least invasive or the most conservative. That's just my opinion. But again, if a lot of people did that, I don't think that they would end up in that situation.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've talked a little bit about the chiropractic side, but obviously that's for you. That's just one portion of it. I wonder in your schooling, is it mostly about teaching you how to be a chiropractor, or is there some instruction about how to be a business owner too?
When I went to school, 20 years ago, and that's whenever I graduated. So I think we had I don't think it was an elective, but I think we had one class, one semester on business. And I think the textbook was about this thick. So to answer your question, no. It was all about patient communication. And again, they want you to come out of there competent with adjusting because, if you've been adjusted before, depending on how you get adjusted, you want somebody who knows what they're doing. So they're really teaching you on technique and learning technique and being a good chiropractor and the good patient communication. But again, I haven't been to the school in a while, but I think their curriculum has changed a little bit and is helping with the business side of things.
So since you didn't get it, how did you get that education of running a successful business? Just trial and error?
And not be so successful for a while.
Make some mistakes.
Yeah. And again, it was just like I did do a good internship in Jerseyville. He had a very high volume practice, saw a lot of patients again. So I got a really good education on the business side through that. And then I met a lot of other chiropractors through him. And again, the gentleman I went in with in Bethalto, so I did find myself with people who had been chiropractors for years and had that knowledge. And again, and I did learn things that I really liked about practicing with both of them, and I learned things that I knew I didn't want to do, and that's good. But yeah, business at first especially was the hardest thing. When he got out, I called it, or a lot of us called it, who knows, every class might have something. I called it the Logan bubble because it was Logan Chiropractic College.
Right.
Because when you're at Logan, all you do is talk about chiropractic. You think everybody in the world sees a chiropractor. You think everybody knows definition of chiropractic.
Right.
And you think you're going to be a millionaire. And that day graduation comes and you have a $100,000 student loan. That millionaire benchmark just goes away pretty quickly.
Sure,
and then
right.
Then you learn and you start practicing, and then you get good with patients, and every year you get better at adjusting and feeling more confident, and then you have your successful practice.
Is there an early mistake that you can maybe tell us about that you learned from that you still remember to today?
An early mistake? No, I don't make mistakes. No, not
from the chiropractic sense.
Nothing off the top of my head as far as there's something big. I'm sure there's many little business mistakes that I did. Thank goodness I haven't done anything bad as far as on the doctoring side. The funny thing is one of the things they always told us not to say. Never say whoops in front of a patient.
No, right,
or
yeah.
or whoops. So
Yeah.
It's like.
This is really bad.
When you start thinking about it, it's sometimes you mess up or you spill something, you say oops or
right.
But you don't do that.
Right, sure. Tell us a little bit about. So you had your practice in Vandalia. We'll kind of rewind a little bit.
Okay.
And then, so what led you back to the area?
Well, again, I wanted to be closer to my friends and family. My parents are here. I have an older brother. Again, I'm still friends with all my high school friends, and we see each other periodically. Everybody kind of grew up and had their families and kids, and
right.
You know how it works. Is you still stay in contact, but nothing like it you were years ago. And it just I guess luckily, I don't know. Some people don't believe in luck. Or a gentleman graduated Logan, and he was from up that area. And I approached him, and I worked things out for him to actually buy my practice. So I was able to sell my practice and at least my patients. I knew that there was a chiropractor taking over and taking care of them,
right.
And that allowed me to come back and open up back here.
It's a great story, a great success story. And I joked with you a little bit before we turned the camera on. You've been at it 20 years,
Yeah.
which it seems like a long time to me. But I guess we are getting that age.
Yeah, that's everybody I went to high school with. We're on about our 20th year.
Right. Yeah.
And so I was, and I did when I got out of high school, I didn't take any breaks. I went straight to summer school, and then at the time, I don't know what they have now, but they had an accelerated program at Merrimack Junior College. So I took an accelerated program to get into Logan quicker. So I didn't take any summers off. I got in quick. I graduated at 23 with my doctorate. I was licensed at 24. So, I was pretty
Fast
young,
track.
and that's 44 is 20 years.
Right. And like you said, a lot of businesses don't make it past the 5-year mark. So great success to be at it 20 years. What advice would you give to somebody thinking about starting any kind of business or maybe a chiropractic practice in particular?
Research. I mean, that's one thing that I didn't do at the very beginning. I kind of just jumped into it. Just take your time, make a good decision, a decision that you want to live with. Thinking back, I probably maybe shouldn't have went with the building that was going to get torn down, but it was very inexpensive. Again, young, it's like let's try to do it as cheaply as possible.
Right.
Just details, and. A gentleman told me one time, it's like, I'm a chiropractor, how you make money is my tables and my tools, spend money on the important things, I got really good tables, I got really good equipment, and everything that I have was good, and it was expensive, and some of the stuff I don't still have it, but I actually used that up and rebought the same equipment because I liked it so much. That was kind of a jumbled answer, but...
No, I think that's good, paying attention to the details and investing in the right things.
You make it sound better than I did, and a lot shorter.
Technology's played a big part in just about every business. How has it played a part in your practice? Obviously, there's a lot more things out there.
Yes. It's my practice biggest thing that technology-wise is when I first started, it was everything was paper. Now I barely handwrite anything. Everything's computerized. Everything's stored electronically. Everything's billed electronically. There's a few paper stuff out there as far as insurance-wise.
Right.
But and then social media. It's like where I was talking earlier with somebody that I don't even do Yellow Page. What's Yellow Page advertising anymore? It's like everything is social media now, and internet websites, and so again, that business side of it, you have to grow with that.
Sure.
Time saves a lot of time with and patient retention. Keeping track of patients. It really helps. But then again, our profession has been around for a while. The techniques have been around for a while, over 120 some years.
Right.
And we're still doing techniques that we did then. Modern medicine has even changed a lot over, short periods of time. And we're still doing adjustments that people did 100 years ago. So, technology is good business-wise, but as far as, and there's a lot of different techniques that chiropractors do, but there's a specific couple of chiropractic techniques that people still do that have been around for a long time.
If people want to find you, how can they go about doing that?
Call. The office is in Bethalto, 618-377-9920. People Facebook me, my name, Matthew Labertew. People call my cell number, and I don't care. I'd rather them text my cell number, and that's 618-581-5900. I have somewhat limited hours at my office, but I try to be as available as possible to my patients. Sometimes I come in on Sundays if people need it. Hopefully it's an emergency. I'd like for people to come in, during my regular hours, but if something comes up and I'm available, I'll definitely try to help them because I live 10 minutes from my office. I actually have a home office set up. I've had people come to my house to get adjusted. I do in-home care for people who can't drive. So if you can't get out of your house, I come to them.
Sure. Well, it's things like that have made you a success and allowed you to stick around for 20 years. Congratulations on that. Best of luck to you in the future. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching the Business Over a Brew podcast. For more video of me drinking free beer with some of the Riverbend's most interesting and influential business leaders, visit AltonDailyNews.com and click on the podcast page. To enjoy a great meal with great food, great service, and great atmosphere, visit Great Rivers Tap and Grill inside the Best Western Premier in Alton. Check out some of their new menu items at GreatRiversTapandGrill.com.